Welcome back to 365 Unlimited. We are back with another episode. Took last week off. Our streaming platform did not cooperate with us. We're hoping that it does when we record this one. But very excited. Obviously, this past weekend of divisional round matchups were very exciting. A lot of fun matchups, a lot of cool storylines, teams coming out on top that you probably expected, but some teams that you didn't expect to win gave those other teams fights. It was an interesting round to say the least, but now we are headed to the NFC and AFC Championship games. The winner of these two games has a trip to the Super Bowl. So we're very excited to talk about these ones. Two very, very fun matchups. Some cool storylines involved within these ones, but let's just kick it off right away. We got Chiefs-Ravens. By the way, both games on Sunday this weekend. Take it off right away. Chiefs-Ravens, 2 p.m. game on Sunday, January 28th. What are we expecting in this one, boys?
Man.
A lot.
Yeah, I think this is the game we've all kind of been waiting for. We know for Baltimore to get there, they got to run through Kansas City at the end of the day. Like, Kansas City has been the Patriots for the last, 3 or 4 years. They've been, I don't think, they said Mahomes has never not been to the AFC Championship.
Crazy.
How many years in a row is it?
Is it 4 now?
4. I think
4
it's
or
4.
5.
6.
He didn't start right away also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But still, crazy statistic. And this is for that Baltimore team. I feel like they want this game because this really will prove, hey, we're running through, just like how teams felt about the Patriots. We want to get through them. So I think this is going to be a big matchup for Baltimore. They got the team to do it. But, like I was telling you guys, Kansas City is going to win this game. Kansas City has been playing well. Now, against Buffalo, you could argue. Baltimore, still, if you watch that game, Buffalo got outplayed. I mean, they made some stupid decisions. I mean, really, the game should have been lost after they went for it on 4th down with that stupid punt play.
Dude, that play call was insane.
I mean, if it wasn't for
The
was
bailout of the fumble, the Hardman fumble on the one.
If it wasn't Hardman, that game's pretty much, it's not over, but now you're looking at it's a 2-score game. And then Bass comes down, and talk about bad kicks this weekend. I mean,
talk about the play calling, dude. They ran the ball that whole drive. They were so conservative, just even try and get into field goal range. It made the vibes were so off in that game.
100%. And Cook Cook didn't do much at all. That's what I am worried about is Baltimore can run the ball. They can run the ball. And I'm more worried about the run game with Kansas City than I am Lamar throwing the ball. Lamar's going to get out into space, and you're going to have to just contain him. He's going to get his.
And don't sleep on Gus Edwards, too.
Right, that's what I'm saying. They can run the ball. But it's one of those things that is hard for me why I like Baltimore. I just don't think they can get it done in an AFC Championship. I don't care where Mahomes is at. I mean, everyone was coming into that game saying, "Oh, it's always gone through Arrowhead." They went to Buffalo. That's not an easy place to play. And I think they can go into Baltimore and win this game. And I think they're on the uproar that people basically counted them out this whole year. And they get to the playoffs. Most of us, I know we all had Buffalo. And granted, that game was a coin toss if you look at the final score. But if you watched it, you can kind of see, Buffalo made some terrible mistakes in that game that really should have been a blowout. Not a blow-up, shouldn't have been a missed field goal decision. So I'm taking Kansas City just because, I don't know. It's like Brady and the Patriots. You got to run through them first. And for me, I can't take Baltimore. I would love to see Baltimore win, but I think Kansas City is just built for these situations. We'll see if Lamar has it in him to do this. I mean, this is what they paid him that huge contract for, and this is what he wanted. That's what he wanted when he got on the draft stage and said he's going to bring a Super Bowl to Baltimore. This is the year to do it. And this is the year Kansas City is the most down they've been in the last probably 5-6 years. So if it's the year to do it, this is the year. So I'm taking Kansas City in that game. Very excited for that matchup, though.
No, you hit on a lot of great points. I think the greatness of Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, and just the Chiefs doesn't really need to be stated in this. But I think the key headlines of why I'm going to go with Baltimore in this matchup, it's the worst team that, like you said, Pat's been around. His offensive weapons, the ups and downs this year, hasn't been glorious at all by any stretches. And I still think in that Bills game, the Bills did more to lose that than the Chiefs did to win that. And the Bills, they were a hot team, but they still showed flashes early on of not being a good team, of being able to lose close games that they were in the whole entire year. But it's the flip side of the Ravens are the best team the Chiefs have played all year, and it's the best defense Pat's gone against in the playoffs, I think, in the last couple of years combined with Baltimore and their secondary. Obviously banged up on some stuff, but that place is buzzing in Baltimore. It's an underrated city. It's an underrated sports town. Like, it's different. They have an edge there, and the edge with Lamar having to prove to everybody kind of on the outside that give him a lot of that noise of not winning a Super Bowl, not being this caliber quarterback that we all know that he is. I think there's more pressure, I think, on Lamar on this, but I think it's a good way because it's Lamar and Mahomes. Like, the pressure doesn't really get to these two guys. Like, these are really the best two quarterbacks in the league right now, and it's no debate for it. One's the MVP, and the other one's Patrick Mahomes at the end of the day. So those are some of the key headlines. I think running the ball, both teams can do it, but Baltimore's going to do it at a better clip from start to finish, in my opinion. And it's just, there's still inconsistencies with that Mahomes offense. Like, obviously he can create at the end of the day, but there's still been struggles. And obviously Kelsey had a great week last week that hasn't really been there a whole lot this whole season, in my opinion. I think it's probably one of his best games he had all year. But that's still but it's still inconsistent at the end of the day. It took this whole time to get there. There hasn't been inconsistencies with Baltimore all year, really, from start to finish, with the defense, with the offense. Stayed relatively healthy. They haven't had a lot of ups and downs, and they keep doing this. Obviously, the Chiefs and all their momentum is there. It's also probably the partial opinion where I don't want to even see the Chiefs in the Super Bowl again. I think that's some of it also. It's just a bias of a little bit. But it's also the greatness. I already know that they can win and do this game and do everything and get back to the Super Bowl and repeat and go back-to-back, but it's tough. Patriots, it was tough to do that. So I think at the end of the day, there's more storylines. There's more of an edge here, I think, for Baltimore and Lamar, and that's kind of why I'm going to go with the Ravens.
Yeah, I think, honestly, my favorite storyline, I'll flip the script a little bit. It's been talked about a lot this week already. But we talk about Patrick Mahomes versus Lamar Jackson, right? Like, that's the headliner. They
haven't played each other much.
Yeah, like, that's the no-brainer. And it's an AFC Championship, too. This is a trip to the Super Bowl. This isn't a game to get into the AFC Championship where these teams face off. Like, this is for all the marbles. You lose this game, you go home, the other team moves on to the biggest game of them all. My favorite storyline in this matchup is Isaiah Pacheco and Roquan Smith. Talk about two guys who are fiery. Talk about two guys who, when it comes to meeting...
we didn't want to pay them.
Yeah, Bears didn't want to pay him. Hey, but in reality, just to piggyback off of that conversation quick, both of the linebackers that you guys got in Chicago this year, the 2-for-1 package, I mean, it is what it is. I think in this matchup, Roquan Smith and Isaiah Pacheco, just two fiery guys, they're going to meet at the line of scrimmage, right? There's going to be so many situations where Kansas City's handing the football off. They may not be able to get a whole lot from their receivers in this game because of how good Baltimore's defense as a whole is. So them trying to get the run game established with Pacheco is going to be important. Mm-hmm. And a guy like Roquan, who is the most fiery player on that Baltimore team probably, and in all reality, in this new generation of NFL-style defenses, Roquan is that Ray Lewis type of player. I'm not trying to compare them by any means, but he's the newer generation of rally to the football, make the play, gang tackle mentality. Like, Baltimore does a great job, more so than any NFL team I've seen this year, in rallying to the football. If one guy gets there, all of a sudden it's 5, it's 6, it's 7, and then all of a sudden the whole football team is in one area. They rally to the football really well. They play together, and they play free football. That's what excites me most about this Baltimore Ravens football team, is they're not just talented, but they play together, and they have fun doing it. They got swagger. And obviously, Kansas City this past weekend against Buffalo, we saw that they got swagger too.
Oh, yeah.
And they always have. They've had since Patrick Mahomes walked in the front door of that facility. They've had swagger. They've had a mentality, a new established culture ever since Andy Reid was there. That team, yes, I knocked them. I knocked them in our playoff preview episodes.
Yeah.
I knocked them
Cowboys top 5. Chiefs weren't.
Yeah. No,
Yeah, and my thing is this, though. This is way more. This is kind of goes back to the Niners-Packers game I think it was the Packers-Cowboys game where the Packers have nothing to lose. I think that's how Kansas City is.
No, that's a good point.
Kansas City has they've already been there. Like, Mahomes
They're the defending champs.
They're the defending champs. They're not supposed to be here realistically. They've had some very bad ups and downs with receiving, with Mahomes this year, with Kelsey not playing well, with all this crap Taylor Swift that's probably why most people don't want there to be a Super Bowl with Kansas City in it, because of the spotlight of that crap.
You're right.
But let's be real, this is Kansas City, and Baltimore has a whole lot to prove. And I think it's a huge task for Lamar. I believe in Lamar. I don't necessarily believe in that offense like a lot of people do. I like Gus Edwards, but
what this season has proved you to not believe in them. They haven't. When they've played good and great teams, dude,
I feel like they play better each week from start to finish.
They beat the brakes off of really good teams.
They shut C.J. Stroud out last week. I mean, there was nothing going on in that game.
Like, people ain't going to talk about it, but in that matchup against Houston, we talk about momentum going into the playoffs and riding that streak, right? The Texans were.
That's how I thought the Packers were going to look against the 49ers.
Well, if you watch the game, it didn't start getting bad until the second half. Houston was in the game. They were locking them down too. Like, Houston's defense was coming up. My thing is this:
is that the Ravens though just being stagnant off of 2 weeks off?
It could be. But regular season and postseason are two different things. You have to
I agree.
You have to look at the regular season. It still matters, obviously. But I don't want to look at it's hard for me to look at regular season once you get into playoffs. Because really, it's like March Madness. No one cares. Any team can beat anyone, and I understand that. But regular season doesn't matter. It really does not matter. This is the NFL playoffs, and you got to get in there and prove. Lamar has to go in and prove. He's had a 14-2 team before in 2019 and lost the first round to Tennessee. So a lot more pressure is on Baltimore. That's why, can they live up to it? Can these guys the offense is what I'm more questioning. Their defense is by far the best defense in the league. Lamar obviously is MVP, but can they get it clicking on offense? Not just with Lamar running, because him running is not going to win them the game.
Yeah.
It's not.
I want to ask both of you guys, actually, because let me just pull this up real quick. Lamar Jackson's probably going to win the MVP, right? And we've talked about this conversation.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, it's not probably.
No, he's going to win. Okay, he'll win the MVP, but isn't it weird just like how analysts and how all of us honestly gauge what an MVP really is? And like, you could talk about individual player perspective or the fact that Lamar's on the Ravens, and without him on the Ravens, they would probably be a mediocre average of the road team. Is that why he's winning? But he threw for 24 touchdowns on the whole season. And yes, he had his rushing yards. Let me check it. 821 and 5 touchdowns. Threw for 3,600 yards. Patrick Mahomes threw for 4,100.
Yeah, but that's so different, bro. Gus Edwards got how many rushing touchdowns on the year? Like, you can't compare it.
I know, that's what I'm saying. It's so skewed when it comes to
and that's why I feel like the Baltimore is so unique in their own aspect of how they win football games. And it's just, I don't see that offense sputtering. I just really don't, because when you have Lamar Jackson in control of that offense, there's always a plan B there. And his plan B is not going to happen that much because he's a plan A passer. Like, he's always looking to throw the ball downfield. And yes, the Chiefs defense has been good and been in and out, but like, they've been solid from start to finish this year. Like, we can admit that. But I don't know what deep
Chiefs defense that Mahomes has had.
Yeah, I mean, it's because some of them with Eric Sorensen playing safety was one of the worst ones in the league.
They
before
got the
also.
same. Kansas City has the same team as last year,
for the most part.
a minor tweak.
Yeah, but that's last year.
But I'm saying this is the same exact team.
But then we're just saying that you didn't want to look at the regular season for Baltimore, so I don't understand that argument point.
I'm saying that their team is the same as last year, who went through and ran through the Philly in the playoff. I'm not looking at regular season. I'm looking at
through Philly
roster.
Last year. They only won by 3.
Philly should.
They won a Super Bowl, dude.
Yeah, no, they won the game by 3.
Against the Philly, who everyone thought this year was they started out 10-1. This is all my point. They're gonna have to. Baltimore is gonna have. This is a statement game for Baltimore, and it is high. Like, people are like, oh, it's the pressure on Mahomes versus Lamar. I don't think it is. There's no pressure for Mahomes in this game. He's already proven what he can do. This is Lamar's.
Well, how is Lamar
game.
Not? I know that
everyone knows he can ball. No one's taking.
He's a Hall of Famer, bro. He's gonna win 2 MVPs. He's a Hall of Famer. That's signed, sealed, delivered.
Right.
Lamar doesn't have anything to prove.
Bro, that's my opinion, because I don't even know how much the Ravens really have to prove or gain out of this, because if the Chiefs come through and walk through them and win, half people expect that. That's the Chiefs' tradition.
Nobody expects Kansas City to win.
If they come in and beat them by 10 points, I'm not shocked. You guys aren't shocked. It's the Chiefs.
I'm not
but because it's the Chiefs, and that's why I don't think there's a whole lot playing on a negative for Lamar and the Ravens, because
Baltimore
it's still the Chiefs at the end of the day. They do, but it's different in my opinion. Because it's like if the Patriots are coming in, the Patriots beat you at your place, you're saying the Patriots should have won. And there's no knock on the person that got beat there, because it's Tom Brady beat him. It's the same idea with Pat Mahomes and the Chiefs.
Well, I think Baltimore has a lot. The only pressure I'll say Baltimore has, it's not individualized pressure. It's the team pressure. Like teams, people across the league and fans in the NFL and
they've done everything besides win the Super Bowl.
They want to see them take that next step, which I understand.
And they just paid Lamar.
Yeah, but
Daniel
pressure. Jones got paid, dude.
Daniel Jones sucks. That's not.
But listen, when quarterbacks get paid nowadays, bro, there's not pressure, because every single starting quarterback in the NFL is going to get paid. Baker Mayfield's going to make $40 million. Does he deserve $40 million? It's another topic for discussion. Quarterbacks are going to get paid. They're going to take up the most salary cap on your team. And I wouldn't say that puts pressure on him. We know who Lamar Jackson is.
I don't know about that, honestly.
Let's flip it a little bit. My X factor for this game, and then I'll ask you guys. So I talked about Pacheco versus Roquan Smith. That's a fun, cool storyline, meeting at the line of scrimmage, making tackles. And they're both those bull-headed football players, them hard-nosed, tough guys. My X factor in this game, I'll talk about for Baltimore, is Zay Flowers. Being a rookie who comes in, immediate, snap-your-fingers impact. Comes in, he's got the same sort of play style with a lot more electricity behind it than Hollywood Brown. And he makes those deep contested catches, but he can also play that intermediate football with clean, crisp routes. Everything that he does as a wide receiver screams that this guy can grow into a wide receiver 1 role. Is he that this year? Probably not. He's still getting into that role. But what I see is, like Budenz, you mentioned right away, the biggest concern for Kansas City is probably to limit or watch that run and try to keep Lamar Jackson in the pocket. And we saw some of that early on with what DeMeco Ryans was doing blitzing Lamar. He'd bring his 2 corners or safeties off the edge, and they would contain him in the pocket. And that's what was kind of limiting that offense early on in that game. Now they had to get away from it a little bit because Baltimore started running the football more. So my thing in this game is, if Steve Spagnuolo, the Kansas City Chiefs defensive coordinator, can draw up some sort of blitzes and put that spy on Lamar and try to contain him, obviously Gus Edwards is your number 2 option to run the football. And he's done great, especially in the red zone. Gannon mentioned the touchdowns. But when we're all keyed in on this running game is when Zay Flowers brings that lightning in a bottle speed and will break one off for 50 yards when it's a catch for 10 yards. I'm saying he'll be the X factor in this game. And also a guy returning, I think, to look forward to is the possibility of Mark Andrews stepping back into this lineup. How much will he play? Will he play a full game? Will he play limited snaps? What will he take away from Isaiah Likely and Lamar Jackson connection? Will that impact? Will it hurt? Will it help? I don't think so. I think Mark Andrews coming back is a huge plus for Baltimore. And let's not forget, Baltimore beat the brakes off of the Houston Texans without their best defensive player besides Roquan, Marlon Humphrey. Who's your guys' X factor? Humphrey was out.
Oh, was it Hamilton? I'm thinking.
Yeah,
Hamilton.
I think Hamilton's better than Humphreys already.
Hamilton's a dog.
Well, Hamilton's a safety.
Yeah, I'm just saying he's a better player on the defense. But I think for my
hold on. Talk about that for a second. The Baltimore Ravens stole those players in the draft.
Kyle Hamilton, what, 18? What was
Hamilton and Linderbaum.
Yeah, dogs. You were
best
so
players.
high on Linderbaum. I remember that when we were doing the draft covers back then. Like, it's top guys. But back to my point, I'm going to go with the tight end matchups on both sides of the ball. I was going to hit the Mark Andrews thing, but Bryce just kind of touched on that. But first is Kansas City. Like, for Lamar to have, or for Mahomes and Pat to have his success at the end of the day, it's going to come through Travis Kelce. Like, if he's going to have a big game and the Chiefs are going to win, Travis Kelce's going to go for 100 plus with a touchdown plus at the end of the day. Like, that's a given. So, like, that's going to have to happen for the Chiefs to win. That's why it's a no-brainer X factor for me on the offense. And then the other side is Isaiah Likely. Depending on what Mark Andrews does, the snap count, it's all going to be limited. I think they're going to run some more double tight end sets, but Isaiah Likely is his security valve at the end of the day, and he's even more of a security valve than Mark Andrews is at times because of the way Isaiah Likely can kind of come back when Lamar's scrambling and then is a true wideout and being a straight athlete and just catching the ball at the end of the day. Those are all different things because if they do take away the run like Bryce was talking about, Lamar can still go win the game. They don't have to run the ball, I think, that much in this game for them to win it. Lamar can go get the job done through the air if he has to. They just haven't had to this year with their run game and everything from start to finish. But I think Isaiah Likely's a big matchup guy, a big touchdown option, just somebody that's always looking for the ball. He's on the same page. It's crazy. Their chemistry is really, obviously he's been there I think for the last year plus, but it's crazy to see how much they picked up, and he's almost more of a weapon than Mark Andrews at times. And it's crazy to say that, but it's how athletic and mobile Isaiah Likely is. So those are my two X factors.
It's crazy for me that Baltimore's. So the money, if you're a betting man, the money is on Baltimore because they opened up I think at -3, and then I saw 3.5. Now I look, they're at -4.
Yeah.
4 is a lot of points against Kansas City. I mean, and it opened up at 3, so you're seeing that people are taking Baltimore here. Otherwise, it'd be going down, right? So that's interesting to see, like, too. Like, where's, like, the big bettors and all this Vegas money, where's it going? And it looks like it's going on Baltimore. I don't know if you guys saw the Super Bowl thing.
Yeah.
And it had the colors.
Yeah.
Purple
I don't
and
know.
red.
I think the NFL.
Purple and red.
I don't think the NFL. I don't
Purple
know.
and red.
The NFL scares
looking
me
like
a
a
little bit.
Ravens 49ers Super Bowl.
Purple and red. I didn't say it.
It looks weird.
It is weird, dude. Like there's no other way
there's
to
no
describe
coincidence.
Hey,
This is not a coincidence.
It's got the green in it, boys. Next year, just to let you
No.
know. Just to
No,
let you
it
know.
doesn't.
It does. It's
But
green,
yeah,
man.
I got.
It's also social media, and honestly, at this point, do we even know until we see it on TV or truly look it up? Do we even know what the hell the true color of the Super Bowl logo is? Like, people on social media can change it a
That
little
was the
bit. alter it a
NFL
little
that
bit.
posted that. I believe.
No, I get that, but I'm saying like other sources you run
And
into
real
and you
quick,
see
let me
things.
discuss this. This crap that happened.
Here we go.
Okay, so you guys watched the Bucks Lions.
Yeah.
So, why the hell?
Didn't take the time out. Yep.
No. Why did
see
Tampa?
that?
Yes, but why did Tampa Bay decide to go for 2 instead of kick the field goal? Why?
I'm with that.
Okay, number one. Why? If you kick the field goal, you're down 7. If you go for it and you get the 2-point conversion, you're down 6. What's the difference? Okay,
You still got to get 2 at some point.
So
what's the
gotta
difference?
Get points. Then
That's what I'm
it's
saying. You still
4th
gotta
down
get the 2.
with 30 seconds left with a timeout, and
That was the only thing that
they
frustrated me.
let it run out.
Yeah, that and the comments from what was it, Todd Bowles? The comments from him after the game was over and everything, discussing like why he didn't take the timeout. He said, "Well, I thought the game was over." Like that's Dude, I'm
That's
sorry.
Todd Bowles, though. That's Todd Bowles.
But that's
This is the
inexcusable.
playoffs, bro.
He's done stuff like that before, bro.
Bro, this is the
I'm telling you,
playoffs.
crazier
A field
things have
goal-
happened. You take
Yeah,
the timeout. They missed the field goal. You got the ball at midfield, dude.
Yeah.
And
this is the
kickers. We
playoffs,
talked
so
about
just
kickers.
do it.
You never know. You never know with kickers. And I'm not saying they would have even remotely had a chance to pull it off. But there is
There's a
no
chance.
reason.
There's
No
a chance.
reason you don't take a timeout. But I'm with the going for two. I don't have a problem with it, dude. I am so all in, so all for aggressive style coaching.
Yeah, but at certain times,
That's
that just,
stupid.
at that point, it made no sense because you're going to have to go for 2 later anyway. So what changes it? That just doesn't.
It's
I agree with the
stupid.
aggressive play calling because like there's certain stuff at certain times of the game, but why be aggressive there? It doesn't gain you anything.
It doesn't
Yeah,
gain you anything. And I think if you, and I'm not saying this, but if
So
you
hold
look,
on, are we transitioning into this Lions 49ers game?
Yes.
Yeah,
So
let's
we're
do
doing-
it.
But
this
let
is
me-
a slight
before-
transition. I
before
wanted
we
to
do-
get off on that because I
That's
watched.
fine.
It was I was bewildered that both of those things happened. It was like a head scratcher. Like, what are you doing?
All right. Yeah,
But
I just
yes.
wanted to before you continue. I wanted to say I didn't even make my pick. I'm taking the Ravens. I didn't even say I'm
I
taking
already
the
knew
Ravens.
you were.
Yeah, no, just the way I'm talking. I mean, we talked about this in our group chat after the way
I think the Ravens are
games
going to win the
ended,
bowl.
unfolded.
That's
I do
my
too.
Super Bowl pick.
I do
Can't-
too, and we'll
can't-
get into Super Bowl talk. I think we'll talk about it because obviously we'll make our next prediction. But for me, I think I talked about Zay Flowers being my X factor, the return of Mark Andrews, Marlon Humphrey if they're healthy. Some guys on the Chiefs are banged up. Pacheco's got an injury; he's questionable. L'Jarius Sneed's got an injury; he's questionable. Those guys, they're going to play, and you expect these guys to be banged up at week whatever it is now in the season, 19, 20. We're at that point in the season where every single player on the football field has some sort of ailment, injury, physical problem, and that's the human nature of football. That's the name of the game. But I'm taking the Ravens, and I do think it'll be a 3.7 point win. I don't think it's going to be like Carter said, 4 points is a lot when you're playing the Chiefs, regardless of the style of offense that they have. It's Patrick Mahomes at the end of the day. I don't want to have to bet against him, but I think this will be a game where Baltimore handles this game and still can win it by a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
But like Carter was doing, we're going to transition into the Lions 49ers game, another very interesting matchup. The Lions playing out of their minds in Detroit, bringing back just an amazing feeling for these Detroit fans. They deserve it. Dan Campbell
It's cool.
restored it.
It's cool to see. It is.
And 2 home games, like it's
Place
fantastic.
was rocking, dude. Rocking.
It was. And we got a Sunday matchup, like I said, both of these games on Sunday as a reminder. And this game, let me see, I can't read it. 5:30 p.m. So I'm excited about that. I like those games being in Central Time, a 5:30 kickoff. You know, it was weird last week when the game was over and it was 8:30 at night when I'm used to the game only being an hour in. So I like these. These times are fun. They're cool, but San
Good
Francisco.
for those Eastern time boys too.
I know the earlier games were nice being done at 9 o'clock, not 11:30.
But San Francisco's favored in this matchup, -7. So Carter
a
talks
lot.
about Vegas, and before we continue into that money line, that spread, and all those Vegas odd things, bet responsibly. Let's include that in there this time. Be smart with your money, and make sure you are of age. Let's include that in there. But what do you guys think about this matchup, man? It's going to be a fun one.
Go ahead. I mean, I'll start off just because I watched the Packers 49ers game obviously very closely last week. And there was just nothing in that game the 49ers showed me. Like, there's just not. Brock Purdy cannot make big-time throws. He cannot sit there. Glove or not, rain or not, whatever you want to say, he
wheels
did
are turning for
nothing.
Carter.
He did
The wheels
absolutely
are
nothing
turning.
in that game. You want to throw that
Played
48-yard
better than
touchdown?
Jordan Love did.
No, he did.
Jimmy
He did.
Garoppolo,
Jordan
So
Love
let's-
choked
So let's
one of them
let's so
balls.
if you want to give it to that matchup, it's a young guy trying to force the ball down the field, but the Packers outplayed them from the kick to the end of the
They
game,
did.
even with
They
Jordan
did.
Love's pick at the end. I'm not saying that as a moral victory for a Packers fan. I'm saying that as the 49ers are not as elite as people think they are at the end of the day. Now, obviously, they're still going to have a very good matchup with this Lions team, but this Lions team is very good and very experienced with Jared Goff. I've not been very high on Jared Goff this year. Still probably in and out on him. But let's say I'm giving Jared Goff the nod over Brock Purdy any single day. The guy's played in a Super Bowl and has done a lot more than Purdy has. Obviously, he's older in his career. But that run game with Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery, man, you saw what happened last week with Aaron Jones. They got ran all over, and you knew Aaron Jones was going to get the ball in that game. It was crazy, and with those double-headed monsters, that's better than Aaron Jones. Those two compared to the one, it's against the defense. That Chase Young, another thing. Side note, Chase Young. I have no personal vendetta against him. What is he doing on the field? He doesn't make any big-time plays. That's why I told Carter, he won the trade with the Bears of Montez Sweat instead of getting Chase Young at that because it's similar money, similar age on the guys, but it's not similar production at all from start to finish.
And the injury history on top of
that. But, I don't know. He just kind of fills up space for me, but that's just another side note. I just was not impressed with the 49ers. Obviously, the 2 weeks off, they've rested some guys because that game didn't mean anything. So I think some of that will probably play itself out this week. But they were lucky to win that game. Very lucky on everything that transpired throughout the course of that game from start to finish. They were very lucky to even get there. So that little slip up last week in my head, I can see the Lions pulling this out. Am I going to go with them? No, I'm still going to go with the 49ers, not because of Brock Purdy, but because of the offensive weapons. I think Debo's still kind of going to be a game-time decision. It's going to wait to see to the game. He's going to see, even if he plays or not, he's still got Chris McCaffrey. Brandon Ayuk looked phenomenal last week for them. He's got that it factor. He's got some dog in him now, kind of before when he was younger. He was kind of timid and nervous on some stuff. But they got the weapons. They do, and it's at home. It's not in Detroit, which is a big-time difference going out to San Fran in this matchup. But it's going to be a close game because Detroit's defense played, obviously it was Baker and the Bucs, but we sat here and slandered that defense, and they played not too bad football against Tampa Bay. Obviously it's Baker Mayfield, obviously it's the Bucs, but their weapons and their offensive outside of Baker is a pretty respectable team in my opinion at the end of the day. 7 points is a lot. I would still go with San Fran in this at the end of the day just because of some of the different things with their weapons, and they still got more offensive help at the end of the day with George Kittle and those guys at the end of the day. It just doesn't feel good with me picking the 49ers in this matchup, what I saw last week, against a Packers team that is not the same on paper compared to the Lions. The Lions are better from top to bottom, in my opinion, on the rosters. And it's just weird because there's also momentum, and the Lions are sneaky because the Lions, again, talk about not having anything to lose. There's not a lot of people giving them a chance, I don't think, going into San Fran and winning this game with the success that San Fran's done. But there's still some stuff with Kyle Shanahan and how he kind of handles some stuff. I think Bryce hit on it with some of the timeouts, the clock management was at the end of the first half. I think we were talking about it. Was that some of the stuff there? He's been known to do that and screw up some different types of things with it. Really weird. Almost outthinking it when he just should do what's kind of there in front of him and kind of take the obvious. But those are just different factors. There's side notes that I've sitting here watching. Bryce and I talk about.
Campbell clock management wise too, it's another question mark.
Yeah, when we talked about aggressive play calling earlier, there's a time and place for it, and that dude's caffeine takes over on the aggressive every single week. That 600 milligrams in him by 8 a.m. is calling for to go everything on fourth down. We'll go back to the Cowboys game, but I'm gonna stop rambling. Let you guys get your 2 cents here on this. I'm gonna go with the 49ers. Not feeling very comfortable with it, but I'm still gonna go with their roster.
Yeah, Carter, go ahead.
Oh man. I don't like the Purdy slander at all.
Why?
I'll let you get it out of the way, and I'll bring it right back.
I don't think he played. He made some.
He didn't play good. Yeah, he didn't play good.
But in that last stretch, he got it done. Made some tough throws. So
he had a nice drive at the end of the game.
He had a nice drive.
So
which
does
is
every
what
mediocre quarterback.
Right, but you got
the Packers handled the business earlier on. That game's not even a one-drive game, and Brock Purdy's not even in that position to win the game.
He's a rookie. He's basically a rookie. So,
not with that offense and Kyle Shanahan calling plays.
No. That boy a seasoned vet.
Come on now. He played half the damn year last year.
No, he didn't. He didn't even play until the playoffs. Brock Purdy.
When did he come in? I thought he came in on.
I don't even remember when he came in, but I didn't think it was that late.
This dude.
He got hurt in the playoffs.
Yeah, he got hurt, but he was there in the playoffs.
But he started at least 15, 16, 17 those weeks. He didn't just come in.
I think the 49ers' better shot was if they would have been healthy.
Jimmy G got hurt. Jimmy G got hurt, and he came in, who was the last pick in the draft.
Yeah, it's Brock Purdy's twin.
Yeah, he won 7 games a year at Iowa State. Never won anything. Couldn't win a bowl game. Couldn't beat Iowa.
Right. So now look at him. And
He's
he had
He's got
some.
a squad. He's got a squad.
He's
Dude,
got a
oh
squad,
my
but we
God.
all gonna put it on the quarterback or or on the team? You still
Man,
need a quarterback. You need a quarterback to win.
Yeah, and they don't have one, is what we're saying.
How are they winning? Debo
Justin
Samuel's
Fields
out,
on that
and
team.
they and they
Put
would
Justin
suck.
Fields on the 49ers. They
And put Purdy on the Bears. Purdy ain't doing nothing with the Bears.
You would have won 3 games with
Fields
Purdy as
still
the Bears
can't do
quarterback.
anything with the Bears, but that's a whole nother story.
Give me Fields in that offense over Brock Purdy.
All right. Let's stop cutting him off. And let
We
him go.
had, what was his name? That Jennings that came in,
Yeah,
made some
Juwan.
tough
He's good.
catches and throws. If you watch Purdy, he made some bad throws. But let's keep in mind, I put him in the same category with Jordan Love and C.J. Stroud as far as experience goes. This is a guy that came in late last year. Yeah, he has a good team. They're also 12
A
and 5.
great team.
Well, according to you,
On paper,
their
one of the
defense,
best ever.
Yeah, on paper, but according to you, their defense and their coaching is a little iffy. But still, they have the athletes. You still need a
That's who
quarterback
plays. That's who's
to
between
make
the
throws. You still need quarterbacks to make throws, and he did when it counted. Jordan Love did not when it counted. And that's my point, is you cannot
Get your package,
slander
Dad.
Brock
There you go.
Purdy. I had to. Brock, you
I mean,
can't
Jordan Love's
slander
still
Brock
better,
Purdy. You can't
Dude.
slander Brock Purdy for
Jimmy
having
G
an iffy
Jimmy
game.
G did his thing to get him.
His
to the
running
playoffs.
back is a finalist for the MVP, Budenz. Come
His
on.
running back's the best player in
Come
the league.
on. Like,
His
come
running back's-
on. He's got George Kittle. He's the best tight end in the game almost right now. Like, come
Stop.
on. What do you mean? He's top
Stop.
3. It's Sam Laporta, Travis Kelce, and him.
So who are you rocking with? I know
Debatable.
you're going. You're
I'm
going with
rocking
the
with-
Niners. You're.
I'm rocking with Detroit.
All right.
I'm rocking with Detroit. This is a little much with the Brock Purdy slander.
All right.
I mean, it's
You're
a
about to
little
get
much.
Some more of it.
No. And I can back it up because he didn't throw one interception. He made some bad throws, but when it
He
counted,
should have. How many
He
Had
were
a
made
pick
dropped?
6. Oh, my.
How many
He
were
had-
dropped?
My.
yeah, he had some
2.
drop. He had one that was a bad tip that should have been
Did
called.
you not see him hit Darnell Savage in the 2-6?
Yeah.
Nobody-
5 yards in front of his target. There was nobody there.
Yeah, well, Savage.
There was nobody there. Okay,
Yes,
cool. We dropped it.
Savage.
That's a pick 6.
That would have
Well,
been a
it's
repeat
not
of
a
the week
pick
before
six.
from Savage.
Go look at the stats. Jordan Love's the one that threw 2 picks. Okay? Brock Purdy didn't. And I'm not saying that, oh, look how they played. Brock Purdy outplayed
Who scored
Jordan
the
Love.
touchdown to go up?
What do you
Who
mean?
scored it? Who scored the touchdown to go up on Green Bay?
Who sealed the deal?
CMC.
Who sealed the deal and drove him down?
He did. I'm not discrediting that
One
drive
drive.
at all. I think
One
he had a
drive.
fantastic
One drive that mattered the most. And
But
so you
mediocre
Because
quarterback.
how many times did we go here you go, here's the game. That's the reason why it was there for him.
Does it
Congrats.
matter? So,
Congrats,
when
it's
you
a
go to
pity
Vegas-
one drive.
When you go to Vegas and you gamble and you sit down at the blackjack table, does it matter what? Does it matter?
I take my odds on a blackjack table over Brock Purdy being my quarterback.
So if you're at the blackjack table, does it matter what you won early on, or does it matter what you walk away with? You can be up 50 grand, but you can walk away with 0. That's the same argument. Yeah, he didn't play great, but he didn't play bad. At the end
I'll
of the
give
day,
you
they
that. That was
walked.
an interesting reference.
They
I'll give you
walked
that.
away.
He played
with
bad.
a win.
He played bad.
He did not play bad.
He played bad.
He did not play bad at all.
All right.
I'll
He's
give him
still-
10% of the game. Yeah, the 10%
still-
won him the game, but it was bad, bro. If he
still
has those
threw for
first 3.5
250.
quarters, if he has those first 3.5 quarters against Detroit, Detroit is setting their ass home.
He still
Home.
had 250.
All right. Anyways, so we could talk about Brock Purdy all day. I'm Gannon and myself not high on him. I think that 49ers team, like I said on paper, is one of the most talented teams I've ever seen, especially defensively. And that's not even
Fred Warner. Oh,
Fred Warner, Greenlaw, Bosa, Armstead,
Yeah, and most of those guys were
even Young. Like he can
nowhere
still
to
show
be
up and make
found.
plays. No, I get it. I get
they were
that.
nowhere to be found. That defense, to me, and I was high on them, it's overrated. They got
yeah.
ran down.
It's a lot of big names.
They
but
got
yeah.
ran down by, and this is no shot at Green Bay, at a pretty much wet behind the ears, young team. And you got piled through, basically. I mean, their offense kept them in the game, realistically, 49ers offense.
Or no, the Packers kept in the game. But
well, the Packers kept Green Bay in it.
Packers kept San Fran in the game.
Right, but that defense, Baltimore's got a way better defense than the Niners.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that offense...
That's what I'm saying. San Fran still might give me some Super Bowl looks, but that defense is not playing anywhere remotely close to Baltimore.
They couldn't stop the run at all. Like,
and we knew that they were handing it off to Aaron Jones.
No. So, yeah. Go ahead, Carlson. Purdy's still a dog.
Yeah, no. But in my opinion, Jimmy G, Brock Purdy, I mean, you put pictures side by side, I don't know who I'm looking at. I think they're the
Tony
same
Romo,
person.
Dak Prescott, pretty much the same person.
Same person. I mean, regardless.
Brock Purdy has more wins than Dak does in the playoffs.
I was waiting for that.
Jimmy Garoppolo took him to the Super Bowl.
Isn't
Brock
that
Purdy,
sad? Hold on a second. Take a pause. Isn't that sad? And you talk about Purdy's team. What about Dak's team? Why don't we ever bring that up?
I don't know, man.
He's got a squad.
That roster was not as good as people gave Dallas credit. They gave too much credit to their roster. Their roster is not that good.
If Dak was a quarterback of the 49ers, they'd be my Super Bowl favorite.
They would still suck.
No, they wouldn't.
Yes.
No, they wouldn't.
Dak is not
they
good.
wouldn't, dude.
All right, let's get back to your points.
I just wanted to throw that in, that Purdy has more wins than Dak in the
That's
playoffs.
fine. I respect it. I'm with it. That's fine. Jimmy Garoppolo's been to a Super Bowl. Dak Prescott hasn't. Here's the thing, dude. It's like quarterback play in general, like Jared Goff, Brock Purdy, like these are good quarterbacks, but like outside of Lamar and Mahomes, they're two. It's totally different.
Yeah.
Like talk about the drop off, right? Like Patrick Mahomes. Honestly, realistically, Lamar Jackson, I love the guy to death. I love watching him play football, but it's Patrick Mahomes and everybody else. And I think you could argue that tier right there below Mahomes is Lamar. But
not if he goes and wins
tier
it this
one.
year.
It's tier one, yes.
Not if he goes and wins it this year. No. He's on the same level then. If Lamar goes and wins it, yeah.
No, that's fine. That's I agree. I agree with that. But my thing, people aren't talking about it as much, but early on in the season, a couple weeks, months ago, Deebo Samuel and C.J. Gardner-Johnson got into it on Twitter. There's some beef. This game's going to be chippy. And we know that in the playoffs, the 49ers going to strap up their boom box, walk out of the tunnel. They do it all year, but in the playoffs, they got some swagger. They got a culture on that team that's about having fun. It's about playing hard-nosed football. And when they come out to play in the playoffs, most of the time, they freaking show up. Detroit's going to have to show up. Now we talk about a Detroit team who has all the momentum in the world to ride this thing out and get to the bowl. But both of their playoff wins have been at home. This is a different atmosphere. You are heading to Levi Stadium now.
Who's the only team that has won away that's left?
Green Bay. Well, Green Bay's out now. Who's the only team that's
Who's
won?
the only team that's
Kansas
alive
City?
that
Kansas
has now?
City?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm just going to put that there.
Also, another thing I want to throw out there, too. So I talk about C.J. Gardner-Johnson and Deebo Samuel. Deebo's a little banged up. He's going to give it a go. And in regards to Deebo, me personally, I believe he's their most important offensive player on the football team. I think you talk about McCaffrey, I think he's the best player in the NFL. But what it allows that offense to be able to do when Deebo is on the field, we saw how that offense shifted a little bit and changed and in the regular season, too, when they lost those games. And now this past week with Jennings taking that primary role of Deebo, trying to take some handoffs and coming out of motions, it ain't the same. Deebo's that Swiss Army knife. I think Ayuk's their wide receiver 1 because he's a true receiver. Deebo's a receiver in a goddamn running back body. He can run the football, he can catch the football, and Deebo is the most dangerous when he catches the football and he's in space. Yards after catch with that man, he is a grown man. The fact that these two teams are going to be so damn chippy out on the football field, I think this game's going to be more exciting than the Chiefs-Ravens. I just truly believe, and it's the night game too. We don't know, man. There's so much stuff within the NFL. It's a business. It's an entertainment business. Lions 49ers drawing the night game. This game's going to be exciting. But talk about an X factor. I'll stand on the hill and die there that Deebo Samuel's the X factor for the 49ers on offense. if he is healthy and he can play, I think it's going to be tough for Detroit to stop them defensively. But I'm taking Detroit in this game. And if the 49ers come out and play anywhere similar to how they played against Green Bay, I think Detroit can win this football game no issue. Detroit's riding momentum. Detroit's the hot team. Will they handle it? Time will tell Sunday night. But I think Jared Goff's in line for a decent game. But I think the two that impact this game the most for the Lions, Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, like Gannon touched on, to steal that point from him. That running game is those pair, two peas in a pod, man. Way different running styles. You could run David Montgomery for a whole drive, and then the next drive you got that change of pace back in Jahmyr Gibbs, who can catch the ball out of the backfield, run the football down your throat, and his cuts. The way that guy can horizontally cut.
Everyone was confused when they drafted him.
Ain't the whole draft class, bro? The whole draft class. The Campbell pick, the Gibbs pick, Sam Laporta pick. Those are their best players. I mean Campbell, you can put him away a little bit.
Still rookie, but
Amon-Ra's their best player.
Yes, but Laporta and Gibbs, dude, like.
No, they hit.
These are the most notable names in this matchup. Like outside of your Amon-Ra, your Jared Goff.
Yeah, it's their offense. Yeah,
your rookies, dude. That's your squad. Credit to Detroit for the way they drafted. I mean, everyone knocked them for it. I personally didn't have as much of an issue with the Gibbs pick, but they did their thing, man, and I'm rocking with the Lions. We all good? We all kind of got our closing thoughts in?
Mm-hmm. I think the cool thing, too, just talking when I said earlier about it's just cool to watch and experience with Detroit, like, they just had the 3-year anniversary when Dan Campbell was signed, and, like, he played for Detroit and then came back and toured the facilities with Miss Ford, the owner, and just the emotions of just seeing it all. It's a cool connection because we were all athletes. We understand the connection to the game that we love, and then to go back for a team that he played for, it's a cool storyline. And I'm pulling for him even though they're NFC North. I don't like the Lions, but like at the end of the day, it's still cool to see the little side story that it is humans before athletes at this, and I think it's a cool story to just kind of put back into perspective for people that there is more motivations than just the sheer success of a sport at the end of the day. So I think that's a cool tidbit in there, and just something that I even got almost emotional watching him get emotional before he went into his press conference 3 years ago, and now look 3 years there and one went away from the Super Bowl. Like, it's crazy.
He's turned that culture around. He brought it back, and he promised it too.
Oh yeah, he said it.
He stood.
And he called it. He said if they get back to where Detroit needs to be, the Lions' way, the city is going to turn upside down, and they have, and more than ever. I would be awesome.
That gives me as a Bears fan hope, because they turned it around literally in one season.
Or it just shows you that the Bears can't ever figure it out. Whatever way you want to look at it.
I wouldn't say that.
I mean, what were they? They were what, 2-14? Not last year, the year before, when Campbell took over the first year.
I think they won 3 games.
Yeah, I think they got 3.
And then
the jump they made last year.
They were 2-7.
That Packers game gave them so much.
And then whooped Green Bay at their own place.
That was not whooped. That was not whooped. It was a one-score game.
Yeah, they took the Packers out, which was awesome. But all I'm saying is the Bears have. I mean, if the Lions can do it, literally any team can do it. I mean, it just shows you that it can switch. If you get it right and you get the right pieces of the puzzle together, like it's not a super slow turnaround. Like, it can happen quick, just like the Lions. So
isn't it crazy though? Isn't it crazy how rookie driven this league is now though? Like 10 years ago you would have said this game is veteran infested. It's veteran driven. Nowadays, it's the top teams across the league that we saw in the playoffs performing this year. Legitimately, you could argue Jordan Love, pretty much a rookie. C.J. Stroud, a rookie. The best players on the Lions, Laporta, Gibbs, rookies. It is a rookie-driven football league.
Yeah, that's the whole theme this year.
It is. Yeah. And even to throw it back when Dallas drafted, just from a fan perspective, when we drafted Zeke and Dak, rookies. 13-3 season into the playoffs, taking L obviously, but
yeah, close that yearbook.
but that's what I mean. Like, it's been a 3 to 5, 6, 7 year trend where it's rookie driven now. This league is
crazy
fun.
that Kansas City are the old. They're the old team.
They are.
Mm-hmm.
They are.
You know, it seems like just just last year, they're the young team. I mean, Mahomes is still young, but he's a veteran, really, in his in how he plays and leads. So I'm excited for this. I would love to see I would like to see Detroit and Baltimore. That's what I would like to see.
That's what I'm thinking.
But I think Kansas City is going to get there. So, I'm seeing Kansas City, Detroit. But I don't know. I mean, this is playoffs. Literally anything can happen. So I'm excited.
Anything. Two very exciting football games this weekend. Going to be great football. Sit down, enjoy it with a family member, a friend, and just soak it up because football's about over. I mean, we got a week off next week, but I'm very excited.
3 more games.
Yeah, 3 total, and then you got your little dodgeball tournament in between with the Pro
flag
Bowl.
Football.
Yeah, throw that away. But anyway, it's been awesome. Chop it up for about an hour and just talk about these matchups. You know, I'm very excited for them, but also very excited for. I think Gannon, Carter, and myself can all agree just the Super Bowl coverage that we're gonna bring and the episode, the sit down and breakdown of the game. And ultimately, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Enjoy the football this weekend. I know we are going to, and we will catch you next time.